are live. Okay. So, good morning and welcome to Kunzang Peo Choling. Thank you so much for joining us for Saturday's meditation. And thank you for those joining us online as well. So the first thing we want to do before we begin is always to establish our motivation for doing this, for being here today. What is our intention? We always start with generating compassion for all sentient beings, so that whatever we do today, whatever we learn, whatever virtue we gather by doing meditation practice today, that we dedicate it for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this is like our bodhicitta intention. So it's the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So let's just take a moment and let that intention rise in our minds. All right. We always start any group practice here with opening prayers. So you can feel free to follow along if you want to try to chant them. It is in Tibetan. So we will do the opening prayers 3 times, chant them in Tibetan. Just do your best, or you can just read along. I'll put them on the screen here. Okay. Organ yugi nu chamsam pemage sadom pola yasan shogi no drumne pemajung ne shisudra koryu kandrum mambokor keki jesu dag drupki jinjilok shir sheksu sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadam Pola Yasan Shogi No Drumne Pema Jung Ne Shesudra Koru Kandrom Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Jinjilok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadam Pola Yasan Shogi Non Drumne Pema Jung Ne Shesudra Koryu Kandrom Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Jinjilok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. All right. So in this class today, we'll be practicing 3 different types of meditation. So 1 to stabilize our mind, and actually 2 to really open our hearts. So the first meditation we'll be doing is Shamatha meditation, or often called calm abiding meditation. Many teachers teach on this, but the text we'll be referring to today is from our teacher Jetsunma from her book Stabilizing the Mind. Each week we always want to go over what is meditation. It's really a buzzword these days, and you see it being practiced in many different ways, in the wellness field as well too. But meditation is really the purpose, and the point of it is to create more spaciousness in our mind. Meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed, stable, and open. And it also trains our mind to be more alert and wakeful. So, again, the whole purpose is to create this spaciousness or this stability in our mind. Um, we often don't know how distracted and how many thoughts are constantly circling in our mind until we try to sit and be quiet and watch our mind. Um, there's so many things in our modern life that can just stir up our mind, create more agitation, more fear, more anxiety, more stress. Um, so meditation is a way to take a pause, actually give your mind some rest, like true rest that it needs. And we think of all, the things that we do to keep our body healthy. Maybe we exercise, maybe we take vitamins, we eat well, but what are we doing on a regular basis for our mind, for our mental well-being? And I think now more than ever, we need that. And just with the craziness of our world and everything grabbing at our attention at all times. So, meditation can help us balance our emotions better, um, communicate in kinder ways because we become less reactive. So, really, this can affect every aspect of your life. And it's so important. Um, Meditation is very important on the Buddhist path because it's the first step in developing bodhicitta, again, which is the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So if we're constantly in this like distraction and feedback loop and where our thoughts are just running wild, it's really hard for us to have the spaciousness of mind to think of others, to bring others to mind, to really be of benefit or wish to be of benefit to others, to serve sentient beings in that way. So it's a very important first step on the path. So today we're going to be focusing on the breath. So sometimes with like shamatha meditation, you could focus on a flower or maybe a candle flame or a statue. But today we'll be focusing on our breath, which is always with you. So you can do this at any time. You can check in with your breath, and it doesn't always have to be in a more formal setting like this. So, but we will focus on our posture today. So whether you're on the floor or in a chair, we just want to make sure we have a straight spine. This actually helps our mental clarity when we have the proper posture. It supports our meditation. So we're going to have our shoulders back, our elbows back, and our traditional posture of our hands is our right hand over our left with our thumbs touching. If it's more comfortable for you to, have your hands on your knees or your thighs or something like that, that's also okay. So with this meditation, we are going to keep our eyes open. They're not, wide open, just very like a relaxed gaze, gazing down towards the floor. And almost like you're drawing a line from the bridge of your nose extending out to the floor, picking a point on that line to rest your gaze. And then we're just going to be breathing naturally. It might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural rhythm of your breath. Just breathing naturally. And we also just keep our mouth slightly parted, not open, but just slightly parted by putting the tip of our tongue on the back of our teeth, like we're saying the letter L. Just rest there. Breathing naturally. And as a thought begins to arise, as thoughts do, and as they will continue to do, we're just going to gently bring our attention back to our breath. And this attention on our breath is a very light attention, a gossamer thin attention on our breath. Our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. So when a thought arises, we're just going to let it rise like a bubble to the surface of a pond and just let it pop. We don't have to look at it. We don't have to inspect it. We can just notice it and let it go. Our meditation isn't lost when we have thoughts. It's when we go down the road with those thoughts and we let them multiply into many more thoughts. So again, just gently bring your attention back. If you feel like your mind is feeling extra wild today, you can imagine picking up your thoughts and tossing them out, or almost just using like a pair of scissors, cutting your thought and throwing your thought out. If it feels very, just hard to break the thoughts, you can do that as well. So we're going to start up with a little warm-up round. Just do a few minutes, and then we'll do a little bit longer. And let's see here. I'm just bringing this up. Okay. All right. Starting now. Okay, if you need to move around, it's always recommended that when you begin meditation that you start with shorter increments of time and slowly build them up. Because when our mind becomes too restless, then our focus is totally lost. So it's better just to take a short break when we feel that and then try again. Um, so, and again, on your own time and throughout the week, you can do longer sessions if you'd like. We'll just do a little bit longer now. So we'll try again. Again, if any thoughts arise, just return to your breath, that gossamer thin attention on your breath. Your attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of your breath. So now that our minds are hopefully feeling a little more spacious, we're going to do a meditation that helps develop our hearts. So the practice of Tonglen, or often translated as giving and receiving, it's a practice done to help develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. So this practice uses the energy of loving kindness to open our hearts to the suffering of others and transform it into well-being. So, in this practice, we're actually imagining that we're taking the suffering of others into ourselves and that we're sending them all of our happiness. So, this is a mental exercise. Obviously, we're not taking on someone's suffering. But by doing this, we are gradually we cease to cherish ourselves so much over others. It helps us develop a stronger wish to be of benefit to others, and it also helps us develop equanimity in our minds. Um, so we're going to stay in our meditation posture. And we're going to start by envisioning you could do, like one or two beings for whom you easily feel compassion towards, or who, if you thought of this person, if you thought of this person suffering in any way, it would particularly touch your heart. You wouldn't want this person to suffer in any way. This could be a parent, a sibling, a child, a friend. This could be one of your pets, anyone whom you easily feel compassion towards. And we're gonna imagine them in front of you, and you're going to contemplate their suffering. And really help that, you really stand in their shoes, really stand in their place, and let that feeling of contemplating their suffering, let that um, bring forth compassion in your heart. So you're really imagining what their experience must be like, and letting it give rise to compassion within you. So you're cultivating in your heart this fervent wish to relieve their suffering and to secure their happiness. All you want is for them to be happy. So we do this by bringing our attention to our breath, and we're going to use the rhythm of our breath to do this. So as we inhale, we're going to inhale through the nose. You're going to visualize that you're taking in all the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of a dark, like a black smoke. You're imagining that when you do this, they are completely free of all suffering, all misery, anything they're experiencing. They're completely free of that. And then as you exhale, you visualize that you're sending and that they are receiving all of your positive, loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness. And it's this radiant, pure light, and it's bringing them limitless joy. So you see that experiencing that limitless joy. So you might think, as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering. And then as you breathe out, may you be happy. So we're going to try this for a few minutes. And again, you can, if you want to try this with one person or another person, you can kind of switch out whoever you're visualizing in front of you, however you wish to do that. So we're going to try this for a few minutes and see how we do. Okay. Go try it again. There we go. Okay. Now we are going to try to repeat this again. And those of you who have done this before know it's coming, but now we're going to try to do this with anyone for who you feel, you know, intense anger or aversion towards. Maybe this is someone that you feel like doesn't deserve your compassion, doesn't deserve your love. But again, the whole point of this practice is to expand our scope of love and concern for all sentient beings, and to uh, look at all sentient beings with a sense of love and equanimity in our heart. So we can't say, oh, may all sentient beings be free of suffering except for, these few people over here. So we have to increase our scope to include all beings. Something that I find helpful is if there's someone I, particularly wouldn't want to do this visualization, wouldn't want to do this practice for. I imagine, you know, say this person has hurt a lot of people or has hurt you, or, just you think this is just not a great human being, whatever your thoughts are. If you could truly take away all of their suffering, and if they could just experience happiness and joy, then who would that person be? I mean, wouldn't, if we were given a magic wand and we could just take all the suffering away of all sentient beings, wouldn't we do it? Wouldn't everyone, if you could really essentially at the core understand that all beings are trying to be happy, no one wants to suffer, even if they have no clue how to create the causes of happiness, and maybe they're hurting many people along the way. If we could take away the suffering of all the world, of all the sentient beings, wouldn't we want to do that? And so that is really the core and the essence of this practice, is to break down every wall around our heart, even to those that are so hard to love or so we think are so undeserving. So try to imagine one or two people in front of you. Again, you can kind of switch it out however you feels good to you to do this. And we're going to try this, and we'll just try our best. So we'll just do this for a couple minutes. Again, we're breathing in all of the suffering on the inhales, like a dark smoke. Breathing that in, they're completely, all the suffering is removed. And then as we exhale, we're breathing that pure, radiant light. And they're filled with this limitless happiness and joy. We're going to try just expanding this same visualization out to a larger group of people, again, for whom we have upset or frustration, just expanding it out just beyond just one person or two people. Expanding that out, and we'll just try for one more minute. Then we're going to just, again, on the few inhales and exhales, just expand out as far as you can, imagining all sentient beings are included in this activity, in this practice. Just breathing in all the suffering of all sentient beings and, offering them all of your compassion, your loving qualities, all sources of happiness and limitless joy as this radiant, pure light. Almost like you're like a filter for all the suffering in the world, filtering that out and sending so much love and compassion. So we'll just do this for a few more of our breaths, inhales and exhale. Right. So this is a practice that we can use anytime. While we're waiting at a doctor's office, we could imagine that we're taking in all the suffering of anyone in the room that's feeling, sick or unwell in any way, just taking on the suffering and sending them all of your love and compassion. Or maybe you're in a big concert hall or stadium and you see all these people in front of you. That's a great way to get almost a vision of having so many people in front of you in that way and doing that practice. And you can also do it, if with someone you're in conversation with, maybe they're stressed or they're sad or anxious. Just they won't know you're doing it, but you're just as you're breathing in and out, just doing this practice for them. And we affect each other more than we know. So these things can be so beneficial to do. So we're going to finish with a short guided meditation. So you can just listen to this and then we'll wrap up with some closing dedications. So this is called the Light Expansion Prayer. This was written by our teacher, Jetsunma. And again, it's, we're expanding that light to all sentient beings. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again, let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. And the presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. And with that, we will look on the back of our handout, and we always do dedications at the end of any sort of practice like this, or any group practice, to dedicate the virtue of our practice to the benefit of all sentient beings. So I'll put it up on the screen now. One second. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and thank you for those online. We do this meditation, again, the Shamatha and Tonglen and a guided meditation. We do that every Saturday at 11, so at this time. And then tomorrow and all Sundays, we do Kempo Karze, our resident Kempo, through Jetsunma Namo's blessing. She has had Kempo teaching here every Sunday at 11:30. He teaches and will teaches on meditation as well, and teaches some meditation techniques, and also does a Q&A, and we do a short group mantra accumulation. And for the next couple Sundays, he will specifically be teaching on preliminary practices called Nundro, which will be very important to learn about and know if anyone wants to do the retreat weekend, the empowerment weekend that we have here. We have a visiting Kempo Norgay, who will be bestowing these empowerments on April 18th and 19th. So there's flyers in the next room, so you can check that out if you would like to attend that. So these next series of teachings that he'll be giving will be very important, especially if you'd like to learn more about Buddhism. They're all foundational Buddhist teachings and foundational Buddhist practices to begin with. So hope that you join us for that as well, and hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. Okay, and I'm going to end the live stream. Bye.